Today I've got the Debut Carbon EVO, which is brand new, replaces the Debut Carbon Esprit SB and the Debut Carbon DC, other than the black version. The black version of the DC is going to carry on for a while. All the rest are to be phased out to be replaced by this unit. Let's get it open and I'll go through the details with you as we open it. We've got our one in dark satin green, very 2020, and yeah, all the standard stuff like the 8.6 inch single piece carbon tonearm is in here on this unit. Ortofon 2M red fitted, and it's 449, so it's 20 quid cheaper than the Carbon Esprit. Heavyweight steel platter on this rather than the acrylic platter on the Carbon Esprit. Different decoupling from the motor to the platter. Sapphire bearings on the tonearm. There's your interconnect and various tools for changing things around, although you shouldn't have to do anything to this out of the box. It's oh yeah, it's quite some quite detailed images and how-tos. You shouldn't have to do an awful lot to stay out of the box other than levelling it up. It will keep your turntable level. Lid, which is always packaged separately. It's another acrylic clear lid. It says it's adjustable in the press release, but height, I think. Really looking forward to seeing this. We've got a thing for green at the moment. Just had a set of Yamaha NS1000s with my own painted Porsche Brewster green. Okay, I'm back. So there it is in the green. I'm just going to place the platter on. Just the heaviest part of this affair. Yeah. Just phone just rang out to pick the phone up and realised that I didn't have a microphone on camera, so you'll have to excuse the first part of the video. The audio might be a bit crappy. I'm going to put the belt on right now just for the sort of video's sake. I'm going to place this on so you can see the unit together. Single piece tonearm, carbon tonearm from Pro-Ject it's quite a special little thing, especially when we consider the price point of this unit. What we'll probably do is we'll probably replace our RPM 10 carbon that's in our sort of reference system at the moment. We've just changed the amp over to a Peachtree Audio Nova 300, so a great sort of integrated amp, multi-featured sort of amp. And we'll probably place this in so we can get a few hours on the cartridge. Okay, so here we go. We've got the the cover on, the platter on, the mat on. There's no belts on at the moment. This will do 33, 45, 78. There's just a belt change for 78, and then it's nice and stable. I'll bring this over to you so you can have a look. I'll get some close-up shots of this soon, and I'll do some talking over the top and explain some of the newer technologies that this Debut Carbon EVO is using. It's just sort of 20 years of progression with this product have just led it to be one of the best pieces of hi-fi ever sold. It's I think it's near on 1 million units that have been sold on the Debut line now. Sub £500, multiple colours, great sound, and ease of use is their primary, the primary objectives of it. And yeah, it really does work. So I'm looking forward to it. We'll put it in our system, get some hours on the cartridge, and then off we go.
I'm looking forward to it. We'll put it in our system.
Here we go. Got our unit fully out of the box. I've put the platter on just for the sake of the video. I'm going to take that off now. I'm going to run you through Pro-Ject's setup guide that they put in the box. For those of you who have never set up a table before, something quite basic. It is their 23-step setup guide. 23 steps isn't it's not 23 huge steps. Some of them are remove the deck from the cardboard, things like that. So I'm gonna sit down here. Typically what you would do is you would do this with the deck in place, because you want to level the deck where you're going to have it sat, and then you level the arm and in a particular order. I'm not going to profess to be some sort of wizard when it comes to setting up decks, but I've set a few up. I'm going to set it up here so that I can get a good shot with the camera rather than in the corner where where the deck will sit, and then I'm going to listen to some music while I work on the V-Class downstairs, and let this give this cartridge some time. But yeah, I'll run you through that now. It'll be quite a close up thing, and we'll get to it. I'll talk you through the steps, and hopefully it helps some people out. Right, okay, so I'm already at about step 10 here, so I'm going to remove the platter, and I'm going to remove the dust cover just in case, and I'm going to put the supplied 33 to 45 flat belt on. On the Debut, this one goes on the smaller of the two, 78 on the bottom, and it uses the same sort of 45 gearing. So place that on like that. They say not to get any grime or grease on these, because it can lead to a sort of shorter life. I just sort of give it a little spin so it levels out. Yeah, so from there you have to put the platter on, as what's suggested in the book. Now what I do is I look through the hole, so I'll stand above it, look through the hole, put the spindle and put it through. The last thing you want to do is jar this at all. You don't want to sort of bang, and this is heavy. This is on the Carbon EVO, is 50% heavier than any of their other sort of steel platters on like the Debut line. You can still put the acrylic platter on if you want, like as seen on the Carbon Esprit and things like that. Right, okay, so the next step for this, step 10 just suggests that your switch, which is under the bottom here, which if I just whip this off quickly, and I'll hold this up like so. You should be able to see the switch there. That's 33 and 45 and 78 on the 45 if you've got the correct belt on, which is a round belt, like I say, and it goes in this larger groove here and it just shifts the gearing up. So yeah, so we're already up to step 10. You know, the first 7 steps are just sort of unpackaging steps and things like that. So now you need a little tool. This doesn't come in the box, so this is something that if you want to bear with me, if you want to set up decks or get the most performance from your deck, is a simple little level. You know, of course it's lovely to have the Pro-Ject one. You can get a level, you've probably got one in the shed. See if you can remove its bubble and pop it on the deck. Now this is almost perfect for us here, and yeah, hopefully if I just pop that there, hopefully you can see the adjustment of the feet ever so slightly moves the bubble, so it's nice and even. It's important that you do this where it goes, really. This is just for sort of demonstration purpose, because you'll set the arm up as well based on the deck being straight, and if you set it up here and this isn't, you know, this surface isn't flat, you'll be in a bit of a pickle. So everything you will have done, it may have been a waste of time. You might strike it lucky and yeah, everything's fine. But anyway, so we'll just keep that there for good measure. And I'll put the platter on, because this might actually change. I don't imagine it. Well, yeah, it has changed it ever so slightly. It is very important that these steps are done in their particular order, because you can't just put the counterweight on and assume that everything's level. And these little things are what a lot of people miss, you know. So technically, I've just jumped from 10 to 16. In order, it explains to put the belt on, put the platter on. It explains the switch. It explains the level. It explains adjusting the feet, which I didn't really just go into, but I kind of just jumped the gun. But these feet are they're rotational, so you spin them, they thread out and they thread in. It's pretty self-explanatory, and that levels the deck. There's a centre one at the back and 2 at the front, all adjustable. And then it tells you to take off the tie wrap that's on there, and I've already done that. So and then counterweight on is pretty standard practice for record players. Is a counterweight, substantial little thing. Yeah, so we're going to slide this on the tone arm. What we want to do, take off the cartridge protection sort of cover. Make sure you're in the down position on the tone arm, so we want it to balance, and we want to drop this between platter and the arm, alright, the supporting arm, or the stay, whatever you want to call it. As you can see, it's really heavy at the moment. There's no balance there at all. What we're going to try and achieve with this is a counterbalance for the parameters of the cartridge. So I'm going to slide this on ever so slightly. You can see it's just going bananas. Alright, so that means we need to move further forward with that. Probably worth until it drops. Slightly, a little bit more. We want it to balance out even. It'll have a moment. And so for the video, that's where I'm happy. That's balancing there, right? So what we want to do now, there's numbers on this on the counterweight, so you want to line 0 up with this, and then you adjust it according to the weight of the cartridge. Okay, in this being a 2M cartridge, so an Ortofon 2M, this is a red, but they're pretty much all the same. Is I'm pretty sure it's 18 or 1.8. Let me have a quick look. The sheet. Yeah, so turn the counterweight clockwise until you're at between 18 and 20. So this is very specific to this cartridge and likely this arm as well, the balance of the arm. But once you've found your balance point, the weight or length of the arm is quite irrelevant, because it's what counterweights the weight of the cartridge itself, and it's sort of tracking weight. So what I'm going to do, the whole thing together, I'm going to turn it clockwise until it lines up like so. Now what you'll find is when you let it go, it will sit at the bottom. That's its tracking force. So that means that when we place a record on, which is our next step, when we drop the needle, it will contact the record, but the weight will be the same, will be correct, because the counterweight is correct. A lot of people like to adjust this to their own sort of tastes. There is a sweet spot, but it is kind of adjustable. You'll lose base weight, gain base weight. You know, you'll really know if you've got it wrong, because everything will just sound distorted and awful. Or if you've got it wildly wrong, it won't play anything, because it'll be poking up in the air. So that's us now up to so we're up to 20. So that's step 20 of 23. Okay, the last 3 steps are relatively simple as well. What we're going to do now is we're going to plonk a record on there, and we're going to adjust the tracking. Now I've been waiting to put this record on this deck, because this is a green record, and I've got green Yamaha NS1000s and a green CA1000. Now this green deck, and this record is going to look amazing on here. This is Tango in the Night by Fleetwood Mac's, one of my favourite records. It's a shade off, but it works. Anyway, so that's now on there, and we're gonna put the anti-skate weight, sorry, not tracking weight, onto there. A lot of people don't run these. It is what it is. I run them because there's a reason for it, you know, and you can tell sort of left to right separation. If you're skating and you don't know it, you know, you will get a shift slightly of the stage to either left or the right, depending on which way we're going. Yeah, so this one hasn't got. It has got adjustability. What we don't want is when we lift the arm up, when we put the arm on like so, we don't want this running off into the center. Okay, we want it sitting square in there, you know. Good indicator is usually when you drop the needle, whether it moves across, because as if you think about it, that as it's sitting, as a stylus sits in a groove like that, if it's skating, this is a stereo signal. If it's leaning to one side or if it's kicked, it's a huge part of what record players are, you know, and how they pick up their information from the record itself. So I'm going to go with Pro-Ject's own specifications with this. Now you've got to be careful with this, because it's really easy to drop. It's really easy to screw this up. So hopefully you can see, if you can't, pause it and have a little zoom in. Their specs say put it in the second groove, and then you hang that into there. What happens is that puts a counter force on the tone arm, and it doesn't necessarily pull it away from the record. It just inherently these will want to scooch into the middle, and that just applies a little bit of force to stop that from happening. So now it should never skate its way into there. So yeah, let's check that. Now I can't see anything in the manual that explains the connection of the RCA or the interconnect connection, but I think it's pretty much self-explanatory. It just says connect to your hi-fi and enjoy your music. So this is the Connect It E RCA, or interconnect as we call it in hi-fi terms. If I spin this round, you'll see we've got this little box here. Now it's not a phono stage, it's just a box to house the bare cable underneath, so you will need to go to a phono stage with this. Typically connect the ground in first, and you want to ground this to your phono stage or your amp. If your amp's got an inbuilt phono stage, lift it up. Pop that between the two washers. There's two washers in there that help you to be able to tighten this properly. Now, don't allow this, I mean it wouldn't cause much in the way of problems, but don't allow this to touch the outer of the RCA. I mean, it's a common ground, so it shouldn't cause you that many snags, but also don't have it sticking out the bottom, because it will affect the way that the record player sits. So just put it somewhere sensible, kind of off to the side like so. Your RCA in. Make sure everything's good. And that's our deck ready to play. So I'm going to go and fire this up. And like I said, I'm going to let it play for a little while. I'm going to kind of avoid sound clips on product, sort of product explanation videos for the time being, because we keep getting messages from YouTube and they're not nice. So yeah, we'll have a crack at this, and then I might just throw up a sound check video later on in the week. All right, let's go and plug it in. So I'm going to try and show you a great example of what I was trying to explain earlier, where the you should set your record player up where it's going to sit. So set it up where it lies, because as you know, as I explained, I was doing it for demonstration on the table. I didn't expect it to be as wildly off as it is when we mounted it to our counter where we keep our sort of system that's on display, or one of them, which we know is level. But check this out. I don't know how easy that's going to be to pick up from the video, but that's wildly off. And I'll try and show you the bubble if we can get some focus. You see how far the bubble is off? Now, I'm sure you don't need me to explain to you, but that should be dead center, that bubble. So I'm just going to set you down over here, and I'm going to readjust that until it's correct. Okay, so the only adjustment we did on the table was correcting the table, because the deck flat with its feet on flat sits perfectly on our bench. So sorry, on our sort of rack where we keep our reference system. I'm just going to check we've still got, yeah, so the weighting's still nice. So now with that straightened up, let's you know, obviously I was doing that to show you on the give you an easier shot from the table, because you can't really see it here. But now that's set up, we're pretty much good to go. So if we cue that up, drop that down, and yeah, let's get some hours on it. We're good. Silence. Great stuff. So I'm just going to quickly, I forgot, I'm just going to quickly run you through what we're doing. So we've got the Debut Carbon EVO, running my favourite Fleetwood Mac album down there, Tango in the Night. And inside our cabinet we have the phono stage. We're running with this is the Pro-Ject Tube Box S2. So these should be straight, but I've just unplugged things from the back. So yeah, so that's what we're running as a phono stage. Now the Peachtree Audio Nova 300 has its own phono stage, but I'm just getting I'm getting some hours on this one as well, and then we can try them back to back. You know, I have heard the it's absolutely fine, but you know, if we don't compare, then we won't know what we prefer to do. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed our unboxing, or our extended unboxing of the Pro-Ject Debut Carbon EVO, the new one, in wonderful green. I'm gonna go and listen to it. You leave some comments below if you want to know. If you're some sort of turntable setup pro and you don't like what I've just done, don't worry about it, just go and watch the next video. Yeah, take it easy guys. I've been Carl, this is Studio Hi-Fi. There'll be links down below. Click on them, go and see. Alright, thank you, bye bye.